Incoming transmission.
Helldivers, Super Earth is lying to you about the fluctuation indicator. The truth of this signal is, hold on. The proximity sensor was tripped. Is someone there?
Good work, Helldivers. I'm dropping off the portable Hellbomb. This illegal broadcast station is about to go boom. Grab your stuff and let's clear out.
Welcome back, Helldivers. Now, we did just have a trailer for the next Warbond release, the Servants of Freedom. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. In today's build, it's going to be centered around the Truth Enforcers Warbond. Now, for this build, the vibe I'm kind of going for is powerful, slick, and precise. So let's already go ahead and jump into the equipment section. Now, for the equipment, luckily, we're just looking at the Warbond here. We already have things laid out for us, and we have some pretty damn good picks. You got two options in your primary slot. That is the Reprimand, that's an SMG, and then we got the Halt, which is a shotgun, kind of like a special action shotgun, because it has that medium penetration and then also stasis rounds. Both of these are pretty excellent in my opinion. I'm a fan of both of these weapons. I think they perform basically at the baseline, if not above average. And now for our secondary. These secondaries actually just got a buff as far as their ammo economy. The one we're going with is obviously the Loyalist. I love the Loyalist. I know a lot of people, I don't see a lot of people liking this weapon very much as a secondary, but I think it's fantastic. I'm also a huge fan of the Purifier, so this is like having a secondary Purifier. Really, the only thing I wouldn't do with the Loyalist is fire it in semi-fashion. This sidearm will perform for you much better if you just stick to the charge-up shots. So that's the primary and the secondary choice, pretty obvious from the Warbond. Grenade wise, I would actually lean more towards like chaff clear. So maybe one of the fires, maybe a gas grenade. This one's kind of like up in the air for whatever you want. Armor on the other hand, well, we have to take the armor from the Warbond. And admittedly with this armor, the perk wise, not the greatest. All it does is when you're hit, it helps with reducing the flinch, but the fashion here, the aesthetic of the armor is really unique as far as like very slick, very Imperial from Star Wars. I think they knew exactly what they were doing with this aesthetic, and I'm a fan. Booster wise, nothing fancy, fill as needed. So we can go straight to the stratagems now. Stratagem wise, let's start off with our stratagem weapon. I got two choices here, but really I think one of them kind of fits the theme a little bit better. So we'll start with that one, and that is the railgun. I haven't used the railgun in a while, especially for a build, but it goes back to that, has a very slick design, precision weapon, very powerful, kind of a jack of all trades. I would say really the only negative about the railgun is the fact that the sights on it, not very good. And then obviously if you don't like having to play with that overcharged mode, then this damage just doesn't feel very powerful. So I do recommend getting used to the overcharge mode because this just makes the gun so much better. But if you absolutely hate the railgun, I think the Quasar Cannon works here as well. Kind of this very powerful, almost like experimental, state-of-the-art kind of cannon, and that thing will definitely cover you for every heavy and massive target. You just gotta, wait for the cooldown and hopefully you don't miss. Now these next three stratagems, the rest to fill out your kit, there's a lot of options you're gonna have here. I think taking a backpack, most notably the shield generator backpack, a little bit more survivability, kind of feels like something they'd give to advanced like elite soldiers. And then I kind of pondered about something like the guard dogs, but I really don't think they fit with this theme. But then for the last two spots, really any of the orbitals. I feel like orbitals fit this, suppression, these enforcers. I think it fits that theme very well. And so you could tailor pick these, but the ones that I've usually been running with is the rail cannon and then the precision strike. Obviously the precision one, you can spam it more often, and then you save the rail cannon for those massive targets. Again, going back to that theme of something powerful and precise. Now you could swap these out for something like the gas or the laser. I actually think the laser is another amazing pick here. So if you don't want to take something like the shield generator backpack, I would take the laser. I think the laser is, it's like the ultimate stratagem for like authority. It's just like, okay, just kill everything. Just go ahead, send down the laser and just it obliterates the field. And I would almost stay away from the barrages. They kind of just fit more of like we just did an artillery theme. I don't think that kind of mixes with the Warbond, with the Truth Enforcer. So I'd stay away from those. So those are my stratagem picks. Let's go ahead and head to the overview section, where we will talk about the individual factions and kind of like what the kit can do there. First, let's start off with the bots. I actually think this performs very well against the bots. I really like taking actually the Reprimand, and then that shield generator backpack keeps you alive. And actually with the bots, let's talk about the railgun first. This thing is amazing versus the bots. Nothing feels better than shooting a Hulk right in the face with it and getting that one shot. It feels like with the Hulk and the railgun as far as the aiming feels very generous to hit that crit spot. And even if you don't, it's a quick reload to put those suckers down. Other than that, the tanks and stuff like that, always just aim for the vents. It's only a couple shots. The railgun is very solid versus the bots. And then that rail cannon is just there for just if you need to just instantly delete a heavy target, or I guess a massive one as well. But like I said in the stratagem section, the orbital laser, also amazing against the bots. And funnily enough, the loyalist, your sidearm there, this does an excellent job at taking out devastators and berserkers. It's just a few charged shots. You can run and gun with it. Just really strong, actually. So don't be afraid to feel the need to bust out your sidearm over your primary weapon, because admittedly, both these primary weapons, the Halt and the Reprimand, they do a pretty good, decent job against the bots. I prefer the Reprimand because a little more stationary, a little more in cover, and it gives you range, and it's very powerful. While the Halt, yeah, you got to get up close and personal. I tend to not really gravitate towards that playstyle against the bots because they were just shooting at you, and then when you get close, the berserkers run in. But I should also mention this absolutely slays out against those jet brigades. The jet brigade, I don't understand them because they're supposed to be this elite unit of robots, but they cluster so close together. You take out one of their jetpacks, and then they just like a chain reaction of explosions. You'd think if they were so elite, they would learn to, like, I don't know, spread out. But anyways, I do think this build is very, very solid against the bots. Now, real quick with the squids, as far as when it comes to the railgun. The railgun is pretty amazing versus the squids. A nice combo I like to do with the squids is take the Hold, get the stasis rounds loaded, and then for overseers, you hit them once, you stun them, they sit there stun locked, take out the railgun, charge it up, and just blow their heads off. It's a really fun combination. Other than that, when it comes to harvesters, you know, if they're unalerted, take out the antenna first, and then it's just a few shots. I think 2 shots is like the optimal way to take out a harvester as far as the joint spot. So 3 shots total is 1 in the head, on the antenna, and then 2 in the joint, and should take them down as long as they're overcharged. Always have your railgun in overcharge mode. I would keep the kit basically the same. I don't think the shield generator backpack is actually necessary for the squids. I really don't find myself in too many situations where I'm getting absolutely blasted. I do like to usually stick to like some sort of cover, and something like the Reprimand and the Halt I think do a really good job at actually taking out overseers and elevated overseers. And don't forget, both of those are medium penetration, which means they can kill harvesters if you just shoot them in the joint. And without even mentioning the grenade, the Loyalist is fantastic at taking out packs of Voteless. It's generally better to shoot them at their feet because it does a small like little AoE bubble, and they go flying. And as far as the orbitals go, I do think the Precision Strike is good against the squids. Obviously the gas I think is superior, but the Precision Strike still just a solid stratagem overall. And then I don't really think the Rail Cannon is too crucial for the squids, just because it's really only going to target harvesters. I don't find harvesters that big of a deal as far as like a threat. So maybe take definitely the laser for the squids. Now, just like the other factions, railgun, let's talk about the railgun first. And the railgun has a field day with the bugs. For the chargers, you can just shoot them in the head and decapitate them. That works. You could also just shoot them in the leg a few times, open up that armor spot, and then use your primary weapon to quickly dispose of them. That was like the OG play back in the day. By back in the day, I mean at launch. And then when it comes to impalers, oh hey puppy, hi lady, come say hi everybody. But then when it comes to impalers, that crown spot right on the top, that's the sweet spot to take those suckers out really fast. Bile Titans are the only things that are gonna take a little bit longer with the railgun. Usually the head spot 6 shots or so. It's not that bad. Just know you're gonna need a little bit of distance. Or you could just disable them with a shot to the sack so they can't spit on you. But that's how the railgun's going to perform for you. Now, when it comes to the bugs, maybe take the Hold here instead of the Reprimand, just because the bugs are always swarming. So it's nice to have a powerful shotgun, especially if you get a map that is seeded with those freaking bile spewers. Those things are still very annoying. But thankfully, again, the Loyalist comes to basically pick up the pieces here. The sidearm is excellent for dealing with those spewers, and also stunning back something like Alpha Commanders as well. And unlike maybe the other 2 factions, I would lock in the Rail Cannon here. There's so many great targets for the Rail Cannon versus the bugs. I like sniping Chargers, Palers, obviously Bile Titans. There's a wide field that the Rail Cannon is good for against the bugs. Other than that, if you can time up that Precision Strike, I think it does a lot of work actually against the bugs. And it has a really short cooldown too. I don't know if I mentioned that during the stratagem section, but yeah, Precision Strike, really short cooldown, you're going to be using it a lot. Now, when it comes to the shield generator backpack, I don't really think you need to bring it against the bugs. Is it useless? No, it can actually be really helpful. I just think this build, it has maybe a little weakness when it comes to just massive chaff clear, and the orbital laser, well, that'll clean that up. So that's the build overall. Let me know if you guys have run something like this where it's very orbital heavy. And the nice thing about orbitals is the fact that you can continually throw them down like one after the other. You don't have to wait for the Eagle airstrike to come in and then leave the area and then it comes up. But anyways, let's move to the state of the galaxy. Let's talk about that new Warbond trailer. So with the new Warbond trailer, I think this Warbond looks pretty interesting. I will be reviewing it either the day it comes out, so Thursday or Friday, depending on how quickly I can get those medals to get everything that needs to be tested. As far as the weapons, yeah, that new, it looks like a sickle 2.0, essentially just a heavier sickle version. Looks like a great blaster. I love me some blasters. So this is going to be a very solid primary weapon, I feel like. And then that secondary, I know probably some people have their, like scratching their heads about that secondary because it's like, hey, don't we already have a grenade pistol? But this grenade pistol looks like it's got a mini nuke on the front. Looks much more close range and maybe a wider area effect. So that should be pretty damn chaotic. And it seems like they like putting stratagems now in these Warbonds. So the personal hell bomb, this thing just looks like pure fun. I can imagine just having one of my buddies take it, I activate it, and they don't know it's activated and just running the hell away. Seems like a lot of fun, and it kind of would play into maybe like a demo build, another demo build. I don't know, that personal hell bomb, it gets my like buildcraft going in my head. Other than that, the armor, I think it has a perk where when you die, you explode or something like that. So that could be interesting. A very volatile Warbond, I would say, overall. But don't forget that usually with these Warbonds, it has something to do usually with like a game update where maybe something will change. So keep an eye out for that. And then also the Superstore, they usually been throwing in little doodads in there. They've been throwing some weapons in there as well. So there might be something else to get from there to test. So yeah, I will see you guys for those videos. And yeah, if you made it this far, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And yeah, guys, I'll see you next time. Peace. Take care.